Okay, I swear on Satan's unholy life, I am going to format this brand new Dell desktop that I bought and put Linux on it because it keeps on blue screen on me when I'm trying to do these videos for y'all and for myself actually. Um, Drag it over here. Well, now, and you can't see it. So, okay, I'm gonna walk through this because I've already done everything. Um, it's not gonna be able to tell you much. Actually, I think I'm just gonna close this. So I'm gonna walk through this step by step to kind of let you know what's going on. So of course, if you can't get this far, well, you might want to withdraw from the class. VI networks. Insert. What you're doing here in this file is it tells the computer anything that it sees with this extension. Like if you go to Chad's computer at home.unix.net, it knows that it's going to be on this network. Network maps, use VI. Yeah. Whatever. Okay, when you do the hostname file, you can do host11.unix.net. I don't know why they have you do that because it's more in the host file. We'll see. Interface down, Ethernet 1. That's one way to cycle power on your interface. Later on, we're going to do interface up, Ethernet 1. Again, you cycle power on your interface whenever you change the setting you want to cycle power, so it takes effect on your homework. Remember that. In here we do the config script interface config. It tells us put an IP address. That's how we manually set an IP address through that actual file. If you want to do DHCP, it'll look like that. It gives us notes in here that we're going to do it later. Roger that. Notice that we don't have a DNS yet. This is saying order, look at your host file, and then do bind. Bind is the exact same thing as DNS. Which hopefully you guys kind of learned about already. But your host file is local on your machine. So if you go to, say, Google a lot or YouTube or whatever other crazy sites you want to go to, if you go home and you can ping them and you can get that IP address, but at work you're blocked, sometimes you can modify the host file, you can put them in there and you can still get to that. It's also come in handy if you're, I don't know, it comes in handy for nerds. Then coming down here, you actually modify your host file. So that's what I was just talking about. You can come in here and put IP addresses of stuff that you want to get to. And I'm sure we're doing this because we don't want to hit their DNS. Although they do give us a DNS to go to. And in the resolve.config, that's where you tell it for this domain, go to this name server and resolve all your names. So instead of going out to the internet and trying to look for Google or Yahoo or whatever, it says, oh, Unix.net? Well, that's right here on our network, so I'm going to go to this name server and look for it. Interface up. Static. Whoa. Crazy with the cheese whiz. Static routes. Here's how you put static routes in your machine. Like that. For the true nerds that go out there and they connect multiple different networks, I do it a lot at work because I'm usually on the internet and I'm on my customer's network, but Windows is tricky, so sometimes I like to go to your customer's network to get out to the internet when you can't do it because I'm configuring everything on it. So I'll come in here and I'll give a route that says, hey, this is my customer's IP addresses, go out my wired interface, and this is my default route to get out to the internet for anything else. So I just add in a route that says add, whatever my customer's network is, go out Ethernet 2, and I do a route add 0000 device Ethernet 1, and that'd be my primary. Service network restart. This is the second way to cycle power on your network services, so that when you make any modifications, they then take effect. Might be in your homework. Pinging. When you do this, the ping, it's going to do continuous by default. Windows only does 4. So to get out of that, just hit Control C. And when you ping this, that's just telling you that it looked in your host file, it found host12.unix.net, and it resolved it to that IP address. Then you do this ping, and it says, look, we don't need the unix.net because we already put it in the file up here. So, shit, I lost where I was at. So, because it's local, we don't even need it. Alright. Then your traceroute command, host12, it's going to be one hop. Because you're on the same network right here, it means that computer is probably right next to the other computer, like the diagram says up here, and you don't have to jump any routers. It would have been better if they gave us a network to go across so you could actually see how it works. But if you do like a traceroute to www.google.com on your machine right now, well, on Windows it's traceRT at the command prompt, and you go to www.google, it'll resolve Google to an IP address, and then it'll show every router, kind of. It'll show every router that it hits on its way to Google, and that tells you how long it actually takes to get there and how many routers are in between and how big of a network you're going across. Your netstat-a, that's going to show all your open connections. Netstat multi-person interface tool to show open ports by TCP and UDP transport protocol. So if you want to run that and see if you're being hacked, or see if like remote desktop is open, is a big one, or anybody's FTPing into your machine, you can find that out, or even SSHing. ifconfig and ifconfig-a, both those commands are used to check out your network interfaces. One lists all your interfaces, the other one lists what you're using, I guess. But you're going to use that a lot if you're an administrator, because that's what's going to allow you to find your IP addresses and your subnet masks and whatever other machines. And it also lets you find their MAC addresses if you're locking down for security wise or trying to trace them through a network. IWconfig, interface wireless config. Yeah, this shows your wireless interfaces. Your IW list shows all the configurations that you have on your wireless interfaces, and that is about it. Yeah, if you guys have any questions about any of this stuff, go ahead and shoot them to me. I don't know everything, but I'm a network guy, so I know how a lot of this network stuff works, and I'll probably show you a couple tricks of the trade. Hope this video helps. See you in class.